Alright guys, just before the video starts, could you do me a big favour? Click that subscribe button and then click the bell icon to receive notifications of future posts. And also, if you want, become a member and support my channel that way by clicking join. Thank you and enjoy the video. Alright guys, well Sean has just messaged me last night and he's only got the Kia EV6s and nanny. And I've seen a lot of reviews, I've seen a lot of chatting about them. And they look fantastic, so I'm like, right, that's it, I'll be down. So I've just got outside Sean's place, a car and cab, to give the EV6 a little drive and a little do a cheeky little review video on it. So I'm excited. I'll obviously speak to you soon once I had a little drive and all that. But yeah, very excited about this one. The Kia EV6s look gorgeous, like. So yeah, I'll talk to you soon. Nice little walk around. So this is the EV6 GT line. It's a very nice car. Let's have a look. Surprisingly, it looks small, but it's surprisingly quite large. Like the boot space, as you can see, we've got two smaller suitcases, medium-sized one and a large one, and it fits all under the partial shelf. So it is a very big boot for the size of the vehicle. You can fit plenty in it. Let's have a look at the front boot, or the frunk. Obviously, because of no engine, you've got quite spacious frunk.
And you probably get some butties and your personal stuff in there.
Yeah, you could do, as well as all the EV chargers.
All your EV chargers. You know, it's a good size frunk. And we've got a 12-volt battery for your ignition.
Yeah,
so
sweet.
The batteries are all the way under the floor from front to back.
Coolio.
So that's why it's quite a high SUV.
Right. So we're sat in the back. There's plenty of space in the back. So this is adjusted for my lanky legs, and also I'm sat directly behind me, and there's still plenty of room. There's also USB chargers in the seats for your rear passengers. Now that seat is adjusted for Sean. How tall are you?
5'8".
5'8".
There's me back in there.
And he has got plenty.
Yeah. It's got a nice little pull-out tray there.
Yeah, to store stuff.
And you know, we've got this nice little light in the middle where the customer can just turn it on themselves, or it opens on the door. So you can see just by my head, there's plenty of headroom. However, it does come down because it's a very sleek, sexy car as well.
So you can knock yourself out getting in.
You know, it's like stepping into an Insignia.
Yeah,
so the drivers, all your Insignia Vauxhall lovers, welcome to the low head where you're gonna hurt if you don't duck your head. Hey! So
I'm just sat in the passenger seat at the moment. Sean's gonna drive us back, but I just wanted to show you the whole screen. That's one large screen going across the dashboard, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's in two sections with all your entertainment and your information of how it's driving, and your navigation is
very, by the way, it's very smooth and fast as well. Do you want to go to the EV?
Showing you how the miles, how you're driving.
What else we got? You got the
heated seats, heated steering wheel.
Then obviously that's your control, innit?
And then you've got your reverse camera there, you can go straight on. So you can actually drive with it being completely, and then you've got different ways of viewing how.
Oh, brilliant. That shows how close you are to the curb.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant, huh?
So, and then we're on navigation. Oh, sorry, I've pressed the wrong one there, haven't I?
Click the back there.
Click the back on there. Just go straight
into navigation.
We just want to go onto map, don't we? I mean, it's very easy to work the nav. You know.
Once you figure it out.
Yeah. Well, no, it's. There we go. We just want to put the map on there. Okay. So it's a really nice big screen.
That is very nice, isn't it?
And this is exactly in the standard model. So you know, this is the GT line, which is one up, and the standard model comes with leather dark black leather, where this is a suede. So I think the drivers will probably go for entry level,
which would be the Air.
The Air.
Yeah, and that was 40,500, wasn't it?
Yeah, 40,500. So you get the leather, and this is the GT line, which is a little bit more sporty.
Yeah, which obviously taxi drivers don't need, do they? Yeah. Also down below, you've got your chargers. You've got USB, you got your 12 volt. You got Type C chargers, so they're the new type of chargers as well. So lovely interior. Also, what's a lovely feature, if you can see the little warning sign in the wing mirror, is what happens is if you try and open your door, it detects oncoming traffic and it'll warn you. So that'd be perfect if one of your passengers, bevy, trying to get out of your car. Obviously that'll flash and give you the warning. So then obviously you can tell them to close the door. Brilliant little feature. There you go, and we're ready?
We're ready. So obviously we can see at the moment we've got 98%, and it's got a predicted miles of 240 miles. So the Kia EV6 only comes in the 77 kilowatts. Charge times are fantastic, and we will list the details, because the Ioniq 5 and EV6 are the same. So this vehicle does not have the 58 kilowatt battery, it has the 77, which the Ioniq 5 at this moment is 73, and it will go to 77 later on this year. So the same MPG is a predicted 323 miles, but realistic using, it's going to give us 290-ish, 280-ish. It depends how it's driven. So
and the weather as well.
And the weather, the heat, and what weight you put into it. But the miles that we start off here is only predicted of how it's driven. So, and
I drove it, so probably not the best.
Well, we've got to realise that charging and regenning is hand in hand. The more you slow down and let the car slow down and not use your foot brake is the answer to driving it. So when we start driving, we're going to see our power we use and the regenning that we use on this screen when we're driving it. So power up, power down.
Yeah.
And just like the Ioniq 5, we've got the drive mode. Sport goes red, eco is how you drive it, and then we've got these two pedals here for taking the regen off and putting the regen on. I
had the regen on max, didn't I?
And
I could actually drive the car with just the accelerator. It was very a unique experience, I'll tell you that.
Well, it's just like driving a Dodge, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you're not having to brake. You put your brake lights on after 3 seconds of slowing down, so it's warning the people that you're doing what you're doing. All our electric drivers just drive on full max. If you go on the motorway, of course, you want to maintain speed, and then you would turn it off because you just want to glide.
Yeah.
Now, when you turn it off completely, you can't recharge up because you've got no restriction. So it's kind of like, what's more important, to just maintain speed or utilize every single
downhill
slope to charge back up? So when they do a test and it's in perfect conditions, just driving from point A to point B, completely driving in one line with no weight, no heat, and that gives you WLTP at 65 mile an hour. So when we drive our electric vehicles, we put our cruise control onto 65 mile an hour, sit back, enjoy the journey, and put some regen on there. So when you're actually coming down a hill, she'll just charge going down the hill.
Yeah. I
got extra 10 miles going to Scotland, and that's uphill, and I got 30 something miles coming down from Scotland on the way back.
And that's just 3 miles from the regen.
Absolutely.
And drove them smart.
It's just like if you look at those big propellers, the windmills, they're making electricity. A wheel doing 60 mile an hour is going, oh wow, this is great, Dizzy Lizzy going around here, and I'm charging off, happy days. So regen is just as important as charging it.
Because obviously if you had the regen off completely, then you probably wouldn't hit anywhere near the close to the range.
Correct.
Because you're not regenning.
You're not regenning. So the people which accelerate hard and then braking hard, they're not recharging up, and they're the ones that say, oh, it's shit this and it doesn't do that, and that's the drivers that we don't want. We want the EV drivers to utilise, to regen our power and charge back up as we work all day.
Yeah, because obviously if you regen your power, you can last longer on the road and you can earn more money.
Exactly.
Yep.
So we're going to go for a little drive, but I'm going to also talk about battery sizes. So obviously we've got the 58 kilowatts in the Ioniq 5, so we can see there now the power that we're using. So we give her a little bit of juice, uses more power, and she's on regen mode now, so you can see it charging back up. But that's not the highest level. I'll put it on to, there you go, that tie pedal. Okay, so that will take you to complete stop now. So when I slow down, okay,
you can actually feel like he's braking it.
Goes up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how our drivers tend to drive them, and now it's more hesitant in acceleration. So
yeah, you can feel a restriction in it, can't you?
Well, you would think, oh, I'm driving with my brakes on. No, you're restricting the power from the motor, which is using a less energy to charge up. So you can actually drive with just tiny little bit of power.
Yeah.
You maintain its speed, and then you'd start backing off, and we're getting the same level back.
Yeah.
That's why it's dead important with electric cars to utilise them for the best. So the funny thing is, with all our hackney drivers in these types of electric vehicles, they're going to benefit the most because they're constantly slowing down and they're on ranks. So you know, electric cars on hackneys is even better than privateering, in all honesty. But,
because they're always parked up, aren't they?
Yeah, and they're always slowing down. So it's just really, you know, I'm 1 foot driver now, you know, and somebody who's got his bad knee with his clutch, and you know, you see loads of taxi drivers. There was David Naylor I saw with his knee operation the other day, and drives an E7 with his you know, guess what? but
even if you've got an automatic, right, my obviously my right knee is sore by pressing the brake all the way down, and then when you stop off for traffic, you've got your foot pressed on the brake so you're ready to set off. You haven't got that problem, have you? You just let go of the accelerator, it stops itself, and it's a lot easier on your legs.
And also it can't roll back on hills, so there's no clutch control, it's not going to roll back on itself. So there's many advantages of just 1 foot driver. So even if you were a person just with one leg, you can work one of these vehicles quite happily.
You couldn't chase after the runner though, could you?
No, you couldn't. You can get your little grandpa stick. Oi, you! Grandpa Simpson time, poking away. My dad's like that, you know. But yeah,
it is, honestly, God, guys, I've just drove this car and it is lovely, and also it is very, very responsive, so it's nippy. So if you want to put your foot down, especially in sports mode, you know what I mean? Like, obviously it's no Tesla, but it is definitely fast enough when you need that responsiveness to overtake. It's definitely got plenty in it, and it's surprisingly, out from the outside, it doesn't look very big, but obviously, like, I could happily drive this car all day, and obviously I'm 6'5", so it is definitely a car to consider. Here we go. So we're back again.
See, that's gone to 247 already. It was on 240 before.
Yeah, so we've actually gained miles while we've been driving around.
Yeah, I mean, I drove to Liverpool in the Ioniq 5 the other day, and I had 217, and I got there, did 12 miles, and I was 4 or 5 miles more than what I was starting off, because, you know, this is only a prediction. It's only a prediction.
I'd like to get on that taxi he's looking at. It's a beast. But yeah, what about the obviously warranty? I know Kia does it. It was a 7-year, 100,000 mile warranty.
Yeah, well, that's only based on 100,000 miles, isn't it? Whereas our taxi drivers, they do miles. So,
and that's obviously if you bought it privately, isn't it?
Yeah, but it would revert back to a taxi. Unfortunately, if you bought any used Hyundai and Kia, I can talk about other brands. Well, they all go to 3 years and 60 because that's your standard.
So if I wanted to buy this directly from Kia, I wouldn't get the 7-year, 100,000 mile warranty because I'm a taxi driver.
Correct. You'd only get 3 years and 60. So, you know, it's more benefit to buy a vehicle brand new or buy from a taxi dealer that has got those terms, you know. So, likes of the EV6 now.
Yeah.
It'd be registered in your name. No issues at all.
What would be the warranty for a taxi dealer?
It's 100,000 mile or 5 years, whichever comes first.
Yeah,
so even if you bought one of our used ones, it would still remain the same. So, you know, we're having a lot of people now, and just like in different brands, and they're buying all used cars, and they're only, it's about a £2,000 saving brand new one, but you're on 3 years and 60,000 miles. So
yeah,
what's the point? There isn't.
That's it. So if you're a taxi driver and you're going to buy brand new, you might as well buy from a taxi dealer, innit?
Yeah,
because you're getting all the perks and the discounts that the dealerships are giving you, isn't it?
It would just come up as car and cab or Sean Marnell.
Yeah.
No matter where the car, who'd we register to, they know it'd be on a taxi. And it's the same with all our brands. All MG are exactly the same. It doesn't matter what we sell, it will always say it's a taxi.
Yeah, because I'm trying to sell my Skoda now, and when I've looked into it, they already know it's a taxi, even though I haven't told anyone, or I bought it privately, got it plated, and now everybody knows it's a taxi. So now I'm trying to sell it. Yeah. Obviously, I'm losing 20-30% of market value just because it's got that label. Where if you buy it new as a taxi, you're getting that discount from the start off, aren't you? Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Makes a big difference. Yeah.
And also there's an awful lot of taxi drivers that are actually VAT qualifying as well, so it's good to, you know, if you were buying a used car, it would be no VAT.
Yeah.
Whereas if we sell a used car again, which is on our fleet, they're all VAT qualifying. So, you know, we have that added advantage as well. You know, like operators, they'll always phone up and say, right, have you got anything coming off fleet short? Because they know they're all VAT qualifying cars. So.
Yeah, right, sweet. Cool. Is there anything else you want to cover?
Charging.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So with the, if we were running this out, which would be highly unlikely you would, unless you're an airport service, for like day-to-day drivers, the average between 120, 180 a day is quite normal. At weekends, they tend to do
a bit more,
250 to 300 miles a day. So let's be honest, if we're sitting off, we buy a 58 kilowatt one of these or a 77. If we ran it down to 0 every night to charge it, it would take 11 hours off your 7 kilowatt. Whereas if we had a rapid charger, even a 50 DC rapid charger, and you went up by 100, although you went up to 150, which these vehicles can take, you can do with these 77 kilowatts in 20 minutes on a 150 DC.
Yeah.
And then it will go down by 10 minutes if you're on 100 DC, and then it'll go down by another 10 minutes for another 50 DC. So really, the question we ask the drivers as well, how many miles you doing per day? What's more important, having the range stored, or you're going to sit off and charge up anyhow? Because if you run it to 0 every single night, you wouldn't have it charged every single day, and you would be rapid charging anyway. Because
obviously the 11 hours is a bit extreme, but like you said, if you finish your shift on 40%, then it's not going to take 11 hours to be fully charged the next day. But at least you got that extra range.
Exactly. So
if you need to do that odd long job,
that's correct,
that you weren't expecting.
So, you know, with Kia, they go, right, well, we're only doing one battery, we're only doing everything top, you know, top spec. I mean, don't get me wrong, the base model again on this is an SE Connect Ioniq 5. So, you know, we shouldn't be speaking from one brand to the other, but they're exactly the same car.
Yeah.
The same spec. It's always with Kia. It's the frilly knickers car of Hyundai, it's the sister, and that's the brother. But we always get in the base models, we're getting leather in the
Kia.
In the Kia. But you will still get the same screens, the same controls, your cruise adapt, you know, all your reverse camera, reverse heater. Yeah,
you've got your adaptive cruise control.
Yeah, adaptive cruise control.
Yeah, so that drives itself on a motor more or less, doesn't it? I've had one of them.
Pretty much. It's called HDA on these. So that's how I drive mine. And also with Ioniq 5 and EV6. So if you're on your base model car, you get a year's free charging from motorways as long as it's owned by an American funder. So even like Scottish Power, when we drove to Glasgow to do the roadshow, Ioniq 5 was completely free to charge.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. Whereas in the normal run-of-the-mill cars aren't. So EV6 is the same. So you would get like 250 charges in a year for free.
That's good, and it's just to give you a little head start on the charging.
If these on the motorways, doing the motorway, because we can clearly stack up straight to the, you know, like we do on Ioniq, we can probably get a good 7 or 8 suitcases. We took the you know, the curtain out, and it's a very wide car, isn't it? Yeah, it is very wide. It's wider than your Skoda.
What?
It's wider than the Skoda Superb, I'd even say. because the platforms on this has got a 2.8 metre wheelbase.
Yeah.
Where Ioniq 5 has got 3 metres, so there's more room inside Ioniq 5, and it's also got a bigger boot, but the boot still is good enough for what we need.
Yeah.
And the front as well on the front, so we can literally just get all our personal stuff out there. So you know, you're taking you know, you've got a lower floor, you can take it up, put all your personal stuff in there. You sit off, you have your butties, or whatever you drop into, you know, any KFC or whatever, and just go on to a charger while you're sitting off having your dinner for 20 minutes or 10 minutes.
And that just tops it up then,
It tops it up, you know, because 10 minutes, because they've got a 250 DC on board, which is one of the largest chargers. It's the fastest charge you can possibly get.
Yeah.
So these are all water-cooled batteries, and of course it does not matter about rapid charging. They are designed to be rapid charged, and you've also got vehicle to load where we can charge up and run things off the car, because the batteries are so advanced.
Yeah.
Where other manufacturers, they only charge up to 80% as standard
On the rapid charging. With this you can charge up to 100.
Right to 100,
Yeah.
just straight away, you know, from 80% to 100% is only 2 minutes on the 77 kilowatt.
Wow. Okay.
Which is, see the way it's got lane assist there? It's just driving.
Yeah, it's just keeping it in, yeah.
And it just keeps like correcting itself, yeah.
Yeah, obviously those white lines are a bit dodgy, aren't they? So it keeps
Yeah. But,
messing up
you
with
know,
it.
and that's how, you know, that's HDA, isn't it?
Yeah. Sweet, that everything then?
Pretty much.
I think we covered everything here. But just to summarise it is a fantastic, comfy, spacious car, and yeah, it's definitely worth keeping an eye out to these if you're looking for an EV taxi or private hire in the future. Alright guys, it's been emotional. Say hello and bye. Nice one guys, thanks for watching, peace out.